Hi everybody, this is 5th week of the 10th week. Today we will study the chapter 6, Management and Leadership in Today's Organization. So last week I talked to you in the business part. The detailed major is 6 to 7 parts. For example, human resource, organization part, marketing, finance, accounting, management science, etc. something. So today we will study the very long history subject, the leadership. The leadership is among the management, the organization part. So today's title is Management and Leadership in Today Organizations. So also this chapter has learning outcomes. I briefly review the learning outcomes. First, what is the role of management? What is the role of management means is what's the meaning of management? And second is what's the 4 types of planning? We have defined the planning, and then there are 4 kinds of types of planning. What are the primary functions of managers in organization activities? So the primary function, what is the primary function of manager? Manager can do something. How the leadership styles influence and corporation culture. They have a very specified corporation culture. So how to adjust the leadership style or educate each corporation cultures is also what is the influence between the corporate culture and the leadership style. How the organizations control activities. So organization control meaning, what's the meaning of control activities, and how do we manage the control activities. And 6 is what roles do managers take on in different organizational settings. So the manager has to set up the roles in every different organization styles. And that's what several of the managerial skills is necessary for managerial success. Every company has some vision and mission. Also, there are some objectives, goals. So, what kind of managerial skills need for success for management? And number 8 is what trends will affect management in the future. It means is this textbook is some specified character is every learning outcomes last versus trend, fashion, new trend for each chapter. So also this chapter 6, management and leadership, also what kind of trends affect management in the future. Okay, let's move to next screen. Is chapter 6 is consists of the 8 chapters. First, the role of management, planning, organizing, leading, guiding, and motivating others. And 6.5 verse is control. 6.6 verse is managerial roles. 6.7 is managerial skills. 6.8 is trends in management and leadership. This chapter is consists of 8 verses. Okay, we will study one by one. 6.1 verse is the role of the management. The first, before this chapter, the definition we need to, what is the management? In the commonly we say the management definition is the process of dealing with or controlling things or things different. Say again, management is the process of guiding the development, maintenance, and allocation of resources to attain organization goals. So every organization have goals. And the organizational goals, how to attain the goals through the management. That's why the management is some process of guiding the development, maintenance, and allocation of resources. Resources is two things. One thing is things and people, resources. Also, the managers is the people in the organization responsible for developing and carrying out this management process. Who has the responsibility? Manager. Okay, the management process. So the management is very dynamic by nature and involves to meet needs and constraint in the organizational, internal and external environment. So the management is affected many different organizational, internal and outer environment. We will study that more detail. So there are kind of circumstance and environment. Okay, so say again, the management means directing, controlling a group of people and organization. This is meant for what? To attain organizational goals. This is management. Okay, and for your reference, what is your business? Sometimes we using the big management and business. So, but yeah, business means is the practice of making one's living by engaging in commerce. Engaging in the commerce. This is business. Also, the person's regular occupation, profession, or trade. This is business. What is your business? Oh, I am a trading business. Oh, I am a professional doctor. This is business. So what is your job? Oh, I am a professor. This is related business, not management. But the management is controlling, directing, or some maintenance, allocation. This is management. So a little bit different. So yes, exactly different. And the keyboard in the management, there are 4 functions. There are 4 functions of management. There are 4 functions of management: planning, organizing, controlling, leading. This is basic function of management. So these 4 things is management originally identified by Henry Faber. Henry Faber is very famous researcher in business, but so he suggests 5 elements. There are 4 commonly accepted functions of management. Compress these necessary skills. First, planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. So we will study these 4 functions. So and there are some specific thing with efficiency and effectiveness. The managers doing the management at that time will the efficiency and effectiveness. This is exactly, these 2 words is very different. So in the business, introduction business, it focused 2 things. Because it's we doing the process, the business or management. What is the main principle was basic concept for attaching the goals through the efficiency or effectiveness. But it's a little bit different. Efficiency is using the least possible amount of resources to get work done, whereas effectiveness is the ability to produce desired result. So efficiency is a ratio concept. This one is ratio concept. So efficiency, for example, input over output. This is efficiency ratio. So you say this is for productivity. This is a little bit detailed things. This ratio is productivity. Most of corporation or organization have some goals through the efficiency. How to get a efficiency for productivity? For example, minimize to it because its output is itself, and the other method is maximize out, and then productivity is going on. So these three we say is efficiency. Again, using the least possible. Very resources is limited resources, so least possible amount of resources to get work done. This is efficiency. But on the other hand, effectiveness is their ability to produce a desired result. We make these things by 1 hour. Some expert by 10 minutes. This is effective. We will make the product in the house, in the warehouse. It's absolutely different. This kind of example is related to effectiveness. Sometimes another example is sometimes we will do it in the morning time, or we will do it in the afternoon, which is more effectiveness. At this time we will using the effectiveness, no mention the efficiency. So simply the difference is okay, we will using the ratio concept, or this is efficiency concept. No need to ratio concept, it's effectiveness. Okay, these two subjects is mostly introduction to business subject, midterm exam. What is the difference between efficiency and effectiveness? This is the regular question for midterm and final exam in the introduction to business part. Okay, so most of faculty take this question. Anyway, yeah. Management is 4 kinds of functions: planning, organizing, reading, and controlling by efficiency and effectiveness. 4 goals, overarching goals. Okay, so also the other word is management is about vision, planning, and communication. While the administration concerns is that more with ensuring the nuts and bolts operations of business. So administration, business, so a little bit different, but they are very connected, the nuts and bolts, you saying. So I guess we are nice difference for management and business and effectiveness and efficiency. Okay. Say again, the function of management is planning, organizing, controlling, reading. Okay. And right here the efficiency and effectiveness concept. Okay, let's move to efficiency and effectiveness. Explain the illustration. The efficiency is using the least possible amount of resources to get work done, whereas effectiveness is the ability to produce a desired result. Effectiveness is the right things, but the efficiency is the things right. That means it's a ratio content. It's actually very good, excellent explain these pictures. Effectiveness to input to output, focus the right things. This is right one. But efficiency is the things right. Input to output. How do you make ratio? This is efficiency, okay? So the managers need to be both efficient and effectiveness in order to achieve organization goals. Okay. And another word is we have to know the efficacy and effectiveness and efficiency. It's a little different. For some case, what is the difference, efficiency versus effectiveness versus efficiency? And clarify for definition only. Efficiency means it's measurable effect under ideal condition. Measurable effect under ideal condition. This is efficacy. Whereas the effectiveness is effect under real life condition. Efficacy does not imply effectiveness. Say again, efficacy does not imply effectiveness. And what is the efficiency? Means is the relationship between cost and benefit. Cost means is in. Benefit means output. So efficiency is a ratio concept. So say again, relationship between cost and benefit. So effectiveness does not imply efficiency. Say again, effectiveness does not imply efficiency. I say again, efficiency does not imply effectiveness. You know what I'm saying? Okay, this is for very important concept in business. Okay, let's move. Chapter 6.2, it's one by one business management concept. First, planning. Planning means the process of deciding what needs to be done to achieve organizational objectives. Objectives is what I say. Also, identifying when and how it will be done. Time and method. When and how. Also, determining who should do it and allocate the resources and people. This is for planning. So there are 4 kinds of basic types of planning. 4 types of planning: strategic planning, tactical planning, operational planning, contingency planning. Okay, so the strategic planning means the process of creating long range, for example, 1 to 5 years plan. This is strategic planning. Broad goals for the organization and determining what resources will be needed to accomplish these goals. So simply we say the strategic planning means is at least 1 to 5 years plan, the long term plan. And second, tactical plan. Tactical. Strategic belongs to tactical. So tactical planning means is the process of beginning the implement a strategic plan by addressing issues of coordination and allocating resources to different part of organization. Each part has some different tactic, and then is covered with strategic planning. That's a shorter time frame, less than 1 year. This is tactical. But strategic planning is 1 to 5 planning. So, and more specific objectives than strategic planning. So, tactical planning is more specified objectives. And operation planning means that this process is creating specific standard, method, policies, and procedures that are used to a specific functional area of the organization. Also, help guide and control the implementation of tactical plans. So, the cover strategic planning, and each one is belongs to in charge of tactical, and below is operational planning. Operational planning is guide to control and how to implement tactical planning. And the continuous planning is a little different because it's plans that they identify alternative courses of the actions for very unuseful or crisis situation. There are so many change environment. That means we say here again, it's crisis situation. So typically stipulate the chain of command, standard operation procedure, and communication channel the organization will use during an emergency. This is contingency plan. So the organization has some goals, and then they make some strategic plan, and below the tactical plan, and each levels make some operational plan, and they are doing the business or management at that time. They have some very specified situation or crisis. At this time, need to planning, we say contingency plan. Okay, so in the processing of the planning and some very crisis situation or some very unuseful situation, in this case using some other plans, we need it. So this kind of plan we say the contingency planning. So again, there are 4 types of planning. Strategic planning is long range, 1 to 5 years, and broad goals, vision. Tactical planning is to implement a strategic plan, shorter term, 1 year, below 1 year, and more specific, better than strategic plan. And operational planning is creating very specific policies and procedures. This is operational planning. Contingency planning is alternative actions for unusual or crisis situation. In the processing the plan, there are crisis or unusual situation. At this time, we have to make some emergency plan. This is the contingency planning. Okay. Okay. Let's move to organization. Planning and second, organizing. The organizing means the process of coordinating and allocating a firm's resources in order to carry out this plan. Organizing. So again, organizing includes developing a structure for the people, positions, department, and activities within the firm. So the firms need to people and how to make connection to position, and each we make the department. This is for organization party, and activities means is job description. organizing is some processing or coordinating and allocating firms resources, people, and some culture, everything. This is organizing. So in the meantime, the managers need to maximize the flow of information and the efficiency of work processes. There are many duty and responsibility for managers, especially in organization part. Managers need to maximize the flow of information and the efficiency of work process. Yes, I know that. So sorting the manager's job, dividing up tasks means division of labor, allocate the labor. And grouping jobs and employees, so departmentalization means is we hire some people and grouping job. Grouping employees, okay, you can input these people, A people in here, B people in here, C people in here. This is allocation. So grouping jobs and employees, this manager's job, in organization part. And so manager's job is assigning authority and responsibility. So delegation. Delegation means is the representative. So the managers assign authority and responsibility. Their duty and same level duty and responsibility always set together. So this is for managers' job in organization part. Okay. Let's move to planning, organizing, and reading, guiding, and motivating others. So what is the leadership? Leadership is very wide and deep subject in the business. So other introduction to other business major have some curriculum. Very important part is organization, human resource part, and leadership part, and organization part. So the leadership is also very important part. So reading, guiding, and motivating others is the management processing. So the leadership is very important part of the subject. The meaning is the process of guiding and motivating others toward the achievement of organizational goals. This is English. Again, the process of guiding and motivating others, other people, toward for achieving organizational goals. Okay, this is leadership. And leadership is when we are refers to leadership, we will also know the concept of power. What's the power? What's the meaning of power? The power meaning is the ability to influence others. Okay, I'm your boss. I'm more authority better than you. In this case, I have power better than you. You know what I'm saying? So the ability to influence to others. For what? Behave a particular way. Particular way means is job description. So I have 3 steps belongs to my manager. I manage, and I have 3 employees. No, 3 steps is okay. And then I give you some job description for each one. Do the particular way. Okay. I give you doing this one, and responsibility also. Step B also you have to do doing, and these kind of things we say is totally particular way. Give to duty and responsibility. This is power. So there are many researchers or professors have identified 5 primary sources of base of power. There are 5 kinds of power in organizations. Many researchers reported and researched. So just I introduce, because this is introduction to business part, but in the leadership part is very serious part, this one. Just briefly I introduce to you guys. Legitimate power, reward power, coercive power, expert power, referent power. So we have 5 kinds of power. So what's the meaning the legitimate power means is an individual's position in the organization. So everybody has some individual position. Oh, I'm a director, I'm a manager, I'm a supermanager, or something like that. It's a legitimate power. And the reward power means an individual's control over reward. Individuals control over reward. This is for reward power. Coercive power means is individuals' ability to threaten negative outcomes. This is coercive power. And expert power means the individual's extensive knowledge in one or more areas. This is expert power. Specialist. And the reference power means individual's personal charisma and the respect and the admiration the individual inspiring. This is reference power. Something charisma. This is kind of power. Legitimate power, reward power, coercive power, expert power, reference power, etc. There are many kinds of that, but usually the base of power is 5. And next, leadership style. So we have individuals in the leadership positions tend to be relatively consistent in the way they attempt to influence the behavior of others. How to impact the others? This is the leadership style. So I introduce autocratic leaders. What's the meaning? Autocratic leaders are directive leaders, allowing for very little input from subordinates. These leaders prefer to make decisions and solve problems on their own and expect subordinates to implement solutions according to very specific and detailed instructions. This is autocratic leadership. So also participative style, democratic, consultative. This is for very participative leaders. Means it's very wide open to steps. The democratic style, consensual style, consultative style. Eagerly open to ears to steps. This is participative leadership. And the free rein. Free rein means it's unlimited freedom. Free rein style. Age is paid. So free rein style. Exactly widely open leadership. So the rages fair is French. It means is leave it alone. Leave it alone. Okay, you do it yourself. You alone. Leave it alone. This is for free rein leadership style. This is for which which is educate. This is not a educate style for each organization. So some case using the freelance style and auto-class style or demo-class style is a new thing. So if you want to more detailed concept in the business major leadership class. Okay, employee empowerment. Employee empowerment. So there I know the first you recognize a union, but in this part, leading guide and motivating others, we say employee empowerment means is giving employees increased autonomy and discretion to make their own decisions, as well as control over the resources needed to implement those decisions. This is for empowerment. So empowerment. Empowerment means is participate and the freelance leaders use their techniques called empowerment. So, leave it alone to each freelance at this time need to empower. So the managers share the decision making authority with subordinates. So why they open to steps, all steps. Doesn't matter for hierarchy. Why they open? This is empowerment. Okay? So empowerment is also a very key word in the leadership part. And also, a very important concept more is corporate culture. If we mention the management and the leadership, we have to concern about the corporate culture. The leadership of the managers in organizations is very usually indicate of the underlying philosophy or values of the organizations. The set of the some attitudes, values, and standard of behavior that distinguish one organization from another is called corporate culture. Say again, the beliefs and behaviors determine how companies, employees, management interact and handle outside business transactions with corporate culture. We cannot, this is for corporate culture, very difficult to define them because it's every small or big one, there are their own cultures, own colors. So later we will study more in the leadership part. Corporate culture is very important key word in management and leadership. So if we pursue some kind of leadership in the organizations, also think about the corporate culture, also think about the empowerment and what kind of style and what is the leadership style. There's a need for control the leadership management. So I will show the 6 styles. There are many kinds of style of leadership. So coaching style, affiliative style, democratic style, command style, processing style, and pace-setting style, and visionary style, or freelance style. There are many kinds of leadership style, but these I introduced just for 6. Okay, let's move to control. Planning, organizing, and reading. Continuous is control. That's the control. Control means the process of assessing the organization's progress toward accomplish with their goal. So there are 5 stages in control process. First, set performance standard and goals. First step is setting the performance and goals. The goal through the vision, through the mission. And second stage is measure performance. Third is compare actual performance and establish performance standard. Next step, take corrective actions. And finally, use information gained from the process to set up future performance standards. So, the control is simply, I'll explain that something like this. Plan. Do. See? Again, plan. Plan to see. Plan to see. What's the meaning of control? Okay, set up. And measure performance. In the meantime, we accumulate some data. And compare actual performance. See? So we are establishing the performance standard because we have some accumulated data. Data means is some output through the analysis. So C means is analysis or some compare, make standard something, and then take corrective action. Choose among alternatives. Use information gained from the process to set up future performance standard. This kind of belongs to C part. And then say, doing again, plan. Refresh it, plan. Doing. This circulation is managing. So controlling is set up style. This is controlling. Easy concept. Okay, let's move to managerial roles. What's the managerial decision making? Decision making process. I explained 7 steps. There are many kinds of steps to explain the managerial processing. So first, identify the decision. What is the decision? Identify. Second stage is gather information. Okay, identify the decision, and then next step is gather information related decision. And some step is identify alternative. Alternatives is choice, some kind of choice through the information or data. And next step is weight the evidence. A, B, C, plans. How do we doing the weight? Weight means is which is more powerful or effective or more efficient, something like that. Next stage is choose among the alternatives. Okay, I choose one. And next step is take action. And review your decision. See what is different. What is pros and cons, and using it. Next we have in the marketing part is study again. So review your decision means feedback and compare and analysis, something like that. And then going back to plan again. Okay, this step is decision making process for explaining 7 steps. Some books is 5 steps, some books is 3 steps. Simply progressing plan. Move to the next one, managerial skills. There are many kind of skills needed to get the operational goals. So also the management is needed to some kind of managerial skills. What's the meaning of skills? Skills meaning is the ability to do something, but proficiency. This is skills. There are three kinds of basic categories. First, technical skills, human relations skills, conceptual skills. So, technical skills is a manager's specialized area of knowledge and expertise, as well as the ability to apply the knowledge. This is for technical skills. At the other hand, the human relationship skills means is a manager's interpersonal skills that are used to accomplish goals through the use of human resources. This is related to human resources. And the conceptual skills means the manager's ability to view the organization as a whole, understand how the various parts are interdependent, and assess how the organization relates to its external environment. This is for conceptual skills. So again, there are many kinds of basic categories related to power skills, but I introduce only three: technical, human relations, conceptual. So these skills is related for managerial. So okay. Okay, so the last chapter 6.8 is trend in management and leadership. As you know, now it's so speedily changed firm's environment. So we say the crisis management. Anyway, many kind of circumstances very quickly change. Sometimes it's crisis. Sometimes it's useful. So at this time, what is the futures? So usually, common sense we say is how do we ready for crisis management? We have to ready for anticipate, forecasting for crisis, unuseful situation for the future. And then make alternative. This is a common sense thing. And managers and the information technology. Later we will study IT, information technology. As you know, they are so speedily changed the IT circumstance. So how do we growing use of IT and educate for IT? This is for the trend for management and leadership. Managing multinational cultures. Mostly we say in the business global market. Also more speedily adapted situation through the computer, as you know, and the internet. So real time, why the open the world in the real time. So every information get same time all over the world. So global management also need to educate management situation. So there are many fast increasing the need for global management skills. So how do we educate them? How do we follow the changes? This whole need for or communication. Okay, so later we will study the MIS, management information is also a new trend for business, for management, and managerial multinational cultures. Is very useful tools for global marketing. Okay, so this is for the short chapter other than the chapter. So management and leadership in today organizations is very briefly review this chapter at this time. So finally I say this leadership part we will study more on the part or other area, but as I said, the business part is consists of the human resource, marketing, finance, MS, or common, something MIS. So leadership is very important part of the human resource part. So how do we make the leadership in the organizations for organizations goals? This is another very big curriculum in the business part. So this chapter, this class is on the intelligent business part. So we will study just briefly review this chapter. Okay. Okay. Thanks for joining this class, and see you next week. Thank you.